And Billy, if you want to get started, floor is yours.
Things off. Well, first and foremost, thank you to all the families and all the players who have taken the time to join us this evening. I know 6 o'clock on a Sunday. Probably got lots of other things you could be up to, but I appreciate you coming on. Tonight's just all an introduction. It's about introducing the new goalkeeping program and the new goalkeeping staff at the club. So without further ado, just if I can introduce them quickly before I hand it over to Rasih. Got Rasih Pala, who's the manager of goalkeeping now. So joined North Toronto at the start of this month. Rasih's someone who I've known for a number of years, always respected his work. He's done a ton of things with Canada Soccer, Ontario Soccer. He's currently the head coach at York University, and previously he was the head goalkeeping coach at Richmond Hill Soccer Club. So we've got a wealth of experience in various levels of the game in Ontario, and I think he's going to be a real asset to North Toronto as we move forward. He's also joined by Anthony Greco. So Anthony joins us from Richmond Hill Soccer Club. Anthony was a head goalkeeping coach there, so he's got a really good handle on the OPDL and the grassroots game as it pertains to Ontario. So together with Sean Sawyers, who many of you at the club probably know, that's going to make up the goalkeeping team right now. So we've got 3 goalkeeping coaches who are going to look to implement a new program moving forward, and going to hear a little bit more about that tonight. So I appreciate everyone joining, and Rasih, over to you, mate.
Thank you, Billy. Obviously, we're super excited to have a ton of people on this call tonight. We know everyone's zoomed out, so we're going to try to go through this as quickly as we can. So thank you for joining us, like Billy said, on a Sunday evening around 6 o'clock. Unfortunately, Coach Sean is unavailable right now. He is at work, so he does apologize for not being able to join us this evening. I'm hoping he can still join the call throughout the next 30 minutes. Coach Greco will be on the call with me. I'm going to share my screen in a few seconds. Coach Greco, if you don't mind allowing the other individuals in. Again,
yes, no problem.
If there's any questions, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys can kindly put them in the chat box for Coach Greco. If there are any, we will address those questions at the end of the call. But I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started. Excellent. And hopefully you're able to see that in 1 second. There we go. Coach Greco, hopefully you're able to see the screen on your end.
Just loading.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect, excellent.
It's up.
Fantastic, thank you. Again, it's an absolute honor to have been asked to join the North Toronto Nitros. Been in the community a very long time. Again, my name's Rasih. I'll be a manager of goalkeeping. And, you know, before we get started, I just want to kind of throw this question out there. This is for our coaches. This is for our players within the program. Is something I truly believe in is knowing and understanding our why. And, you know, this pertains to the goalkeeper program specifically for this evening, but without understanding and knowing why we do certain things on the field, we'll have a very difficult time developing goalkeepers within the club, within the community, within the country. So this is something that, you know, I pose to the goalkeepers on the call, knowing and understanding your why as to why you want to be a goalkeeper. Why do you want to achieve success within this position? So these are things that will be the pillar of our program. Tonight's agenda, we're just going to quickly go through our staff and the backgrounds of each staff member. Created a mission and vision statement for the club within the goalkeeping program. A club development pathway, which we feel that will be very well aligned with the club model itself. Building our culture, which is something very important for me as a goalkeeper coach, is one of the pillars I've implemented within the university program I currently coach at, and something I truly believe in. discussing our DNA goalkeeping profile, what goalkeepers need. And this is a very interesting part of the presentation that comes from studies within the US national team, professional clubs in Europe. So just to touch on a few areas of what goalkeepers need. Something that I truly believe in is having a unified goalkeeping coaching methodology, and we're going to discuss how we come up with that. Our desired outcomes for the club, and this is going to be within a year's period. And something that's a bonus is our Yule Sport affiliation, and something that we've already established within the Instagram social media world. So, as we get started, this is something that is very unique, and across the province, we've created a goalkeeper program that has a very robust structure, something that resembles what you would see in a European model overseas, is a management of goalkeeping followed by staff. Oftentimes you see within the landscape here in Ontario, within Canada, one goalkeeper coach for a club, maybe two. To have 3, potentially 4 coaches within a club is very unique, actually unheard of within goalkeeping. So what we've created is a support system that will provide feedback to one another, provide mentorship, and obviously have that unique approach where we have staff available to properly oversee the goalkeeping program from our U8s all the way up to the League One program. My role within the club will be overseeing, implementing, and executing several programs, giving education to the staff, providing education to all the coaches within the club, and just really hone in on the goalkeeping side to make sure that our goalkeepers are developing the way they should. Just a little bit about me. As Billy mentioned, I'm currently the York University men's and women's goalkeeper coach. I've been there for the last 2 years. I also own a goalkeeping platform that was created about 1.5 years ago. That is a unique platform that stretches across Canada, where we deal with coach education, but we also deal with elite training and identification programs. I'm currently one of the members on the National Youth Goalkeeper License for Canada Soccer. That is a pilot project that should be done in March. I've spent time being a learning facilitator for the Ontario Soccer Goalkeeper Diploma course. Had a brief professional career in the 2nd division in the Turkish League. Spent 4 years at the NCAA D1 level as a goalkeeper and field player. I was fortunate enough to represent the Canadian national youth team as a goalkeeper, and I have 20 years of coaching experience, not within just goalkeeping, but also head coaching and assistant coaching at various levels. So unfortunately, Coach Sean couldn't be here tonight, but this is an individual that you guys don't need an introduction for. Sean has a wealth of experience at the playing level, but he's been at the club for approximately 6 years, has that OPDL and League One experience, over 30 caps for the Jamaican national team, and he was a professional player for almost 10 seasons in the Jamaican Premier League. And he's also certified within his Ontario Soccer Goalkeeper Diploma course. And last but not least, Coach Greco. All yours, Coach.
Thank you, Rasih. Good evening, everyone. Very happy to be on the call and being part of the NT. A little bit about myself. Came from Richmond Hill Soccer Club, where I overseed the whole program as a head goalkeeper coach. Prior to taking over the Richmond Hill program, I was at TFC for 4 years, in charge of their TFC juniors and the pre-academy goalkeeping program, and developing goalkeepers to eventually be part of TFC Academy. I played at York University, played 4 years there, won 2 OUA titles, 2 national titles at York University. Now I'm currently on the newly national goalkeeping license with Rasih as well, contain the Ontario Soccer Goalkeeping Diploma, also C license trained, and I'm looking forward to working with all the goalkeepers at the club. And looking forward to showing everyone what we have planned for tonight.
Fantastic. Thanks, Coach. This is just something that our staff has looked at and identified as a mission for the club. And obviously we want to make sure that we align with the club model, but to have a goalkeeper program that aligns with the club model to form a pathway while focusing on long-term player development, to have goalkeepers love and enjoy the position. So this is something that we're going to be extremely passionate about. Is the last sentence is extremely important there, folks, is having our goalkeepers love and enjoy the position. That's extremely important for our growth. That's extremely important for the development of the player. Our vision is to be the leading goalkeeper program within the community by implementing a structured club foundation, a desirable player culture, with a progressive coaching methodology to develop goalkeepers. And the biggest takeaway from that vision statement for me is having a desirable player culture. Very important for our program to sustain, because I think in the long run the success will be well received if our player culture is top across the country. And I'm going to let Coach Greco talk a little bit about our development pathway. Coach.
Yeah, so this is our development pathway. I'll break it down into the 5 phases here. So our first phase, which is our U8 to U10, which is our pre-foundation phase, is training to explore. So in this phase, we're exposing the goalkeeper position to even players that are not necessarily goalkeepers, to explore the position, see if they see themselves being a future goalkeeper. And it's kind of a phase to explore different foundations for these young goalkeepers, and hopefully if they do pursue the goalkeeping position, it's their ability to work with us and really get to know what it's about being a goalkeeper. Our U11, U12, which is our foundational phase, is training to learn. So in this phase, we build the goalkeeper's foundation throughout the basic aspects of being a goalkeeper, which is the technical, physical, and all those phases that we do cover. In the U13 to U15 is the formation phase, and this is training to redevelop. And this is a very critical phase for a goalkeeper. This is once they start playing 11v11. It is considered the OPDL phase as well for those high performance. And in this phase, a lot of things are changing in these goalkeepers with their physique, and that also changes how we need to redevelop the goalkeepers based on their growth spurts or whatnot, and everything that's going on in their lives at that U13 to U15 age category. Then at the pre-League One phase is training to compete. So this would be considered a U17 phase, which would be the last phase of the OPDL. And this phase is getting them to start getting into that atmosphere that leads into our League One college to prep phase, where it's training to win. Now they start pursuing possible Division I scholarships, OUA scholarships, and now it's that winning mentality, and everyone's fighting for that starting spot at a future university level team, right?
Fantastic, thanks, Coach. This is something I'm extremely passionate about in implementing a strong culture. 5 areas, and this 5-pillar model comes from things that we've learned from the England FA, things that we've adopted from MLS academies. Is these 5 areas are extremely important for our culture. For me as a coach, for the growth of the goalkeeper, focusing on work ethic. Work ethic has to be important for the goalkeeper's mindset. Being humble, being hungry, and always being the hardest worker on the field. This is one area that the goalkeeper can control. This is one area that the goalkeeper needs to focus on, because this is ultimately what's gonna prevail in the end, especially depending on the pathway that they choose. The union needs to be strong. Unity is strength. When there's teamwork and a collective approach, success can be achieved. I'm a strong believer in this part of the culture. Something I took to another level with the York Goalkeepers this past season on the male side. The union was extremely strong, extremely noticeable, and it made a huge difference in the development of the goalkeeper. Preparation is another thing that can be controlled by the goalkeeper and the player themselves. Success is where discipline and opportunity meet. really important part of this culture that we're going to try to build within the club. Ownership. I use this word a lot because, you know, responsibility and accountability equals ownership for me. A sense of ownership can be a powerful tool within our organization and within the goalkeeper program at the club. And again, the last part of this component of this culture wheel that we've created is individuals with passion can make anything happen. Without culture, we won't have an identity. And for us to be a strong union, identity is going to be very important for all of our goalkeepers to be a part of what we're trying to build here at the club. So this is going to be an area that we focus in on, you know, session to session, game to game, and, you know, group to group. So we're going to be very focused on this, on building this proper culture. Coach Greco, if you want to just touch on our DNA.
Yeah, so this is the DNA of the goalkeeper profile, and I'm not going to go one by one into every single quality here, but these are all things that we would like to see in our goalkeepers, and a lot of goalkeepers on this call may contain multiple of these qualities. You know, being a leader, you know, is something where it's not only in soccer, but even on and off the field. These are all qualities that are effective and can help us as athletes, and as well as being an effective goalkeeper. And all these qualities are good qualities to be that high performing goalkeeper and to take you to the next level. And these are how we would like to structure the DNA of our goalkeeping profile at NT. And our training and our regime and our culture will all reflect the DNA we see in the goalkeepers at the club.
Excellent. You know, when we look at what goalkeepers need, I wanted to focus in on 3 areas. Obviously, a lot of things will revolve around the session itself. And, you know, when we get further along within the goalkeeper program, you know, again, aligned with the club, we're going to be focusing in on, you know, in possession moments, out of possession moments, but everything will revolve around the session. So the 3 areas I'm going to focus in on, and these come from studies, like I said at the beginning of the presentation, from the US national team, within the Ajax club in Holland, Benfica, England FA, parts of the MLS, where, you know, it doesn't matter on the age group, need to empower the goalkeepers. Providing the right environments is crucial for their development. So we want to create a structure to allow the goalkeeper to adapt and manipulate. Encourage and inspire while allowing the session to be a player-centered session, and make the session fun to have the goalkeepers encouraged to love the position. And again, that goes back to having them love the position as a part of our mission. If we don't empower the goalkeepers to enjoy coming to training, then it's going to be very hard for any goalkeeper within the club. Doesn't matter if we're in the talented pathway or within the competitive program, or if we're U8. If we're not having fun, it's going to be very hard to come to training and learn. The elements of the session are going to be extremely important for us. What I refer to as situational progression. We want to develop actions and decisions while incorporating multiple outcomes. This will make sense as we progress into a structured session. But for me, making decisions while the goalkeeper understands multiple outcomes can come from the opponent's actions is something our goalkeepers can start understanding at a young age, all the way to the League One phase. We want to add transitions and complexity to build the situation for decision-making and challenge the goalkeepers to perform outside their comfort zones. We often see a lot of goalkeepers go to training and do the same thing over and over again, so it becomes repetitive but comfortable. One of the elements that we will introduce into our sessions is putting goalkeepers outside their comfort zone. And you know what, this is something that we can adopt at even a young age at the pre-foundation phase. Our session checklist, you know, maximizing the situation. Oftentimes we have to be adaptable as coaches, but we as players need to be adaptable as well. Actions need to be relevant and realistic to the game. To set up the environment with minimal transitions to maximize time with emphasis on detail. This could pertain to a team session. This could pertain to limited exposure on the field. There's so many things that we have to be ready for and be adaptable to. We want to incorporate technical and tactical decisions that are appropriate to the demands of the game. this all ties into our coaching methodology. So for me, I don't want the goalkeeping position to be harder than it is. It's already a very difficult position to begin with. It's very complex, but the first part of our methodology has to start from the game. The game is our best tool. It's our best teacher. And this is the way we should be organizing our structure. So when we look at the game, aligning with the club model, we look at in possession moments as the goalkeeper, and that's, coming around in terms of attacking organization. Then the transitional moments that occur from being in possession to being in out of possession moments, and then having the goalkeepers understand their responsibilities in defensive organization. We as coaches, have to implement a methodology that makes sense. Okay, so oftentimes we look at training scenarios, we watch YouTube, and we see these goalkeepers doing backflips through hula hoops and flames on the video, and everybody seems to think this is effective. In my humble opinion, I don't think it really resembles the game, so it doesn't really make sense for the goalkeeper if we're going to train them in that environment. So we as goalkeeper coaches must consider the following regarding goal defense, area defense, and offensive distribution. Are we preparing the goalkeeper to play an actual game? This is a real big question that we must ask ourselves, and the goalkeeper should be looking at themselves and saying, am I being prepared for a game, or am I being prepared for a YouTube training session? Number two, are the goalkeepers performing game realistic actions in training? Are the movements resembling the movements a goalkeeper would do in a game? Are the passes and the actions achieved in a game being translated to training? Are the goalkeepers in a challenged environment? Is service, tempo, and actions realistic to the game? We often consider the differences between what I call announced service versus unscripted service. So oftentimes, the old methodology of goalkeeper training revolved around a goalkeeper coach telling the goalkeeper where the ball is going, the service being announced, and the goalkeeper performing an action. That never happens in a game environment. So can we provide situations for the goalkeeper where they're receiving unscripted service like they would in a game? And what I mean by unscripted is the goalkeeper does not know what that service will look like until the ball leaves the attacking player's foot in a game related scenario, and they have to make decisions based on that moment and read the cues of the player. And does our training situations look like the game? These are all things that we must consider, and these are things that we will be implementing within our coaching methodology. Now, when we looked at the club and we looked at what we wanted to achieve within the first year of being at North Toronto as a collective, these are the desired outcomes we're looking at achieving within the first year, is developing and building a long-lasting relationship with the players, staff, and community. This is going to be a priority for us as we are new to the club. We want to establish and cultivate that positive goalkeeping culture within the club that promotes the position as desirable and enjoyable. We want our young goalkeepers to aspire to be a goalkeeper. We want our young players to look at the position and be interested, intrigued, and enjoy if they become a goalkeeper. So this is going to be very big for us. We want to provide those game realistic training sessions to maximize player development and challenge the goalkeeper, which we've touched on earlier. We want to prepare our goalkeepers to understand the game tactically and increase soccer IQ through constructive game analysis and feedback. So, this is an area that I've identified even at the university level as being a deficiency within goalkeeping, because the game feedback is extremely important for the growth of the goalkeeper. And, from our standpoint, I think this is going to be a massive part of the development phase of a goalkeeper if we can provide that game analysis that means something to the individual. And, the last area we want to achieve this year is increasing awareness in that foundation and pre-foundation phase by implementing clinics, player and parent engagement, while educating the club on the position. And this is something that, we want to really come out with within the first year and say, that we've been able to achieve these 5 areas. I'll let Coach Greco talk a little bit about the last part, and then we'll be on to any questions if need be.
Thanks, Rasih. So we have Yule Sports. In my opinion, I believe that Yule Sports probably the best goalkeeping brand out there. And all the goalkeepers at the club will have the ability to, through our network, we have discounts at Sports. So all the goalkeepers at the club will have the ability to get a promo code for any Sport gear and any gloves. And this is something that we want to extend, like I said, to all the goalkeepers and All Sports top brand. I use it on the field all the time, and we're looking forward to having that available for all our goalkeepers, as well as an Instagram page, which in my opinion, to my knowledge, I don't believe there's a specific Instagram page for any club in Ontario that outlines just the goalkeepers themselves. So we have an Instagram page that is brand new. NT Goalkeeper Program is the handle. Feel free to go and follow it. And the purpose of this Instagram page is to outline and to show the talent we have in North Toronto, and some of the things that we're doing within the club, outline great performances, any highlight clips, from our U8 all the way up to our League One. And it's a great way to show recognition to the position and to introduce the position to people that, may not have a full understanding of what it means to be a goalkeeper. So this is something that we're excited about, and we will be actively using throughout the season, all year round. And, it's available for all the goalkeeper staff and parents of the club. So go give it a follow.
Fantastic. Billy was fantastic enough to get us our email addresses very quickly within the club. And, if anybody has any, emails that they want to send, I've put our email addresses at the bottom of this presentation for myself, Coach Sean, and Coach Anthony. Obviously, we feel like we just wanted to kind of do a brief introduction into what we feel can be very impactful for the program. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen, folks. Again, I wanted to keep the presentation fairly short for this evening, but we're extremely honored, like I said, to be able to be a part of the program and implement what we can implement. And this is not going to happen overnight, folks, but we're committed to having this implemented so we can achieve a lot within the goalkeeping program at the club. So I don't know if there's any chats.
No questions.
No questions. Usually in evenings like this, Coach, it takes one question and the floodgates open. And I'm not going to put any of the people I know on the spot, but I do see a hand pop up, and I think that is Billy.
Hey, Rasih.
Yes, Billy.
Hey, Sean. Just for the parents of younger players who may be in our Nitros development program or advanced development program, but what would be some of your advice, like in terms of sampling the goalkeeping position? Because we're big advocates of not specialising too early, but what would be some of the advice you would give a parent of, so let's say, an 8, 9 or 10-year-old as to maybe exposing themselves to the position?
Yeah, that's a great question, Billy. And this is something that, we've discussed before is obviously in those early days, there's certain things we want to look for in the identification process, and the players need to explore the possibility of putting a pair of gloves on and having a different role within the team. So, I'm a strong believer in a goalkeeper being extremely athletic. So that might be something that we look to implement in the nice weather when we get into the spring, is having some open clinics for our young goalkeepers to focus in on game related activities that focus in on goalkeeping that aren't necessarily goalkeeping, if that makes sense. But any suggestions or feedback from the staff and obviously any of the young players, we definitely want to make sure we implement those aspects into the early pre-foundational phases and see and obviously build on the excitement of the position by understanding the uniqueness and what you can achieve as being a goalkeeper. So these are going to be extremely important parts of our programming, especially with the young boys and girls in the club. I believe.
Question in the chat box, Rasih.
Yep.
I could read it here.
Yep.
When does the program start and how do you apply? Also, do the kids only train for goalkeeping or play other positions too?
Well, this is going to be definitely specific to when we're able to resume under the current circumstances. So it depending on the group, the phase of development, it will change from group to group as to when we start. So, it's going to come down to, abilities to implement certain things in the spring and summer. It's going to be dependent on the age. If the question was geared towards, let's say, 8 to 10-year-olds, there might not be something that's specific to goalkeeping at that age. It all depends on the interest we're able to attract within those groups, and obviously implement what we can implement based on staffing and everything we have available to us. Goalkeepers at that age, again, are encouraged, like Billy said, to be able to play multiple positions. So we don't want our young goalkeepers to focus in on only goalkeeping, but we want them to be all-around athletes and all-around soccer players, understanding the position, maybe being introduced to goalkeeping, seeing a little bit about how it feels to wear a pair of gloves, and just start fostering that love for the position. So hopefully that was a good enough answer for the question.
We have a hand up from Julie.
Excellent.
Hi guys, how are you? Thank you so much for doing this. So my son currently plays for the Nitros CSL team and as the goalkeeper. And sometimes he's called up to the 14-year-olds to play goal for the TSA. I'm just curious how it works. So since he's currently doing that and it's a pretty big time commitment, like, is this, this is kind of a supplemental thing? Is this something separate we join up for, or I'm just a little bit confused how we make it happen for him to be a part of this.
Well, nice to meet you, Julie.
Nice to meet you too.
I think is that Billy?
Yeah, I think a lot of parents are asking similar questions, and so there's no supplementary program you have to sign up for. The goalkeeping program is extended to any current North Toronto player. So if you're a player part of the advanced development program, so the under 11s, under 12s, there's program specific, goalkeeping specific sessions that begin starting at under 11s. So if your son Julie's in the CSL program, there's 2 training sessions a week once we get back on the field that are open to the competitive players. And what we'll do is we'll clean up the team snap. There'll be a separate goalkeeping team snap that you're invited to join, and you'll be able to see when those sessions are. So there's no need to register, just keep Team Snap up to date so that Rasih, Sean, and Anthony have an idea of who to expect in each given night. So there'll be 2 training sessions available. Likewise, if you're an 11 and 12-year-old, or I should say U11 and U12, so 10 or 11 years old, you'll also have access to 2 training sessions per week. So all of that will be up.
Thank you so much. You just made that super clear. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Julie.
Fantastic. Thank you, Billy.
Question from Craig.
Hi, Craig.
It's actually Benjamin.
Oh, hi. Hi, Benjamin. How are you?
What would happen if there was no goalkeepers?
Within the team, Benjamin?
No, like ever.
The game would have been much fun.
Then there's going to be a lot of goals scored on, I guess, the goal if there's no goalkeeping. But you know what? We're hopefully not going to be in that situation, and hopefully we have a goalkeeper at least being able to protect that goal for their team. So we want to make sure that they're having tons of fun doing it.
Okay.
Great question. Anything else, Coach Greco?
No, I believe that's it. No. Oh, Alex. Question from Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hello, Rasih. Hello,
Hi.
Anthony. Nice to see you guys. And looking forward to the program. Quite excited. Question. I will have a lot of questions for you later, but right now, question around time. and it's sort of twofold or even threefold. For 13, starting from 13 and all the way maybe to League One, how many hours do you feel a goalkeeper needs per week for proper training, a goalkeeper with some ambitious goals? And question number two is the training at Nitros. Will that be somehow adjusted to the team training, or will it be fairly similar to what it used to be? Which I'm not saying it's not coordinated with the team training, but will there be any effort made to coordinate the goalkeeper training with the team training? And I know it's challenging for you to make it work for all ages and all trainings, but I hope you understand my question.
Yeah, and I'll start with the first question and then maybe get some clarity on the second question again. But in terms of your first question, obviously it's very dependent on the age and the workload that's already being implemented at that given time within the year. We want our program to have the goalkeepers not be overworked, because it is a very demanding position physically, mentally. The psychological demands of a goalkeeper are extremely high. So I wouldn't say based on a 13 to 17, the workloads and the training programs are going to be completely the same. I know, from my experience at the university level, my workloads are going to be very different depending on the match week, right? Maybe at the beginning of the week, the workloads will be a little heavier versus the end of the week match day -1. So to give a blanket answer based on a 4-year age gap would be very difficult for me to look at, depending on the physical capacity of the goalkeeper, based on their experience, based on how many times they're on the field, because they will need recovery time. There's other psychological demands in terms of schooling, home life, expectations within their team environments. So there's a lot going on. So I think it's going to be based on the situation, individual situation of each player. So hopefully that was, the best answer I can give based on that question. The second question, again, I think it's going to come down to the way the training sessions are structured in the spring and summertime, and maybe Billy can touch on that. But the demands of the goalkeeper training will be aligned, or best aligned as best we can with the team training sessions.
Yeah, sure, Rasih, I can talk to that. It's impossible for us to create individual schedules for all the goalkeepers, which would see goalkeeping training not clash with their team training environment. We just don't have the resources. We think we're pretty blessed with the resources we do have with Rasih, Sean and Anthony, but to service every single team on an individual basis and ensure that the goalkeeping schedule does not conflict with our team practices, it's not possible. But what we do is, depending on the level of the player, of course, is we provide multiple options throughout the week. And the head coaches and the goalkeeping staff will be very much connected. So if it's a case of it's better for them to be at the goalkeeping specific training, maybe working in that goalkeeping union that Rasih talks about, so it might be some of the older players and younger players working together, then the head coaches aren't going to have an issue with them missing a practice to go and attend that. That being said, going back to the previous question about total hours, it doesn't have to be goalkeeping specific for them to still get training. If they're in goal, playing the position of goalkeeper with their team in small-sided games or training activities, they're still being exposed to developing goalkeeping skills. So it's not as easy just to answer that question. But yeah, we don't have the resources to service every single program individually. There's no way. We've got almost 5,000 players at the club, but we do have the intentions of providing lots of options that goalkeepers can take advantage of.
Yeah, thank you, Bill and Rasih. Just to clarify, we don't need to continue discussing this again. We will have plenty of time for me to ask more questions. The part of the objective was to, if we have, for example, 3 goalkeeper sessions scheduled per week, and say one of them is very challenging to make it work to attend. So basically, we don't have to absolutely attend all three. I think that's what one of the challenges I found in the past, and I think that's what my question was prompted by. But if there are three training goalkeeper specific training sessions, then and one is just completely outside of reasonable boundaries, time boundaries, where it will make sense for us to, as an example, we'll have to come to team training, then go back home, spend an hour somewhere and then come back to another training. So that's what I was trying to get is, do we need to attend all goalkeeper sessions scheduled, or 2-3 hours of training will be enough per week? But as I said, we can discuss it.
Yeah, and that is probably something that we'd have to discuss, like I said, on an individual level. We do have to be very mindful, very, very mindful that our goalkeepers are not overtraining. We often think training is the only part that develops the goalkeeper, but there's other cognitive low impact things that they can do. There's yoga and stretching that is extremely beneficial to the goalkeeper. There's other things that could be implemented. And oftentimes we always think training. And this is a part of the culture and part of the methodology that we need to implement as goalkeeper staff, is imparting that knowledge in on the families, the players, the parents, to understand exactly how we want to approach the game. Because I'll tell you from personal experience, if you overtrain, by the time you're 23, your hips, your lower back, there's going to be a lot of issues because there's a lot of physical demands on the position. And we want to be extremely mindful that we're not, driving the player into a position where they're going to be suffering from injuries and overtraining. So we have to be very careful.
Yeah, thank you both, Bill and Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Question from the chat box from Rubina. Hi, the TSA U13 girls team has no dedicated goalkeeper. How do you address a team that has no girls interested in goalkeeping?
Well, I mean, again, fantastic question. Can we, create a little bit of a buzz or a passion or love for anybody in the group that wants to be a goalkeeper by providing a little bit of background into the position? Can we, attract any players within the group that maybe want to try the position and maybe are afraid to try the position? Can we show them that, it's very unique? There's a lot of positive things that can come from being a goalkeeper. Can we make it fun for them? And if that doesn't work, oftentimes I do see within games or teams that don't have a goalkeeper, there's obviously a rotational system, because it is quite important for the goalkeepers in the modern game to be efficient with their feet and be able to be comfortable in possession of the ball. So, if a goalkeeper, a player is assisting the team on that given day, that could be a rotational option, and it might be dependent on the head coach. It might be dependent on the program itself. So hopefully that was able to address that. But we would try our best to provide education and build that awareness for the position.
I think that would conclude the questions, Rasih.
Fantastic. Obviously, folks, again, everyone is zoomed out. I totally get it. I had my 4-year-old on Zoom for the first time last week, and I was pulling my hair out and I don't have much left. So, I totally thank everybody for joining the call and listening to us tonight, and just, it's been an unbelievable welcome to the club. So, we're extremely blessed and extremely happy to be at NT and provide this program. And, with Coach Sean, I see him on the call now. We're very lucky to have Coach Sean and Coach Greco assisting myself. And, we're really excited. I just can't wait till this lockdown's done and we can get out there and do what we love, which is goalkeeping. So if there's no other questions, I'm seeing the comments. It's our pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Again, if you have my email, drop me an email if you have any questions. We're going to have some time to meet each other. So I hope I get to meet everybody very soon. It's going to be great when we're back on the field. So.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great night, folks, and we shall see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have
Bye.
a great night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.